Our last chance to listen to Vitamin Metropolis. Or at least I assume Vitamin Metropolis is not going to play on the moon. I thought one of these people was a shop. I thought there was a shop somewhere. Hi Sunny, yeah, I'm expecting to finish tonight. I've basically got a couple of set pieces and one dungeon left to do. If I can find a shop. I think I have to go back to Rouen for a shop. I'm definitely having a better experience with this game than Devin and Leroy are, but the only thing I'm really going to miss is that music. Hello, Tara.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm alright. How are you?
I've had a long week, and I've spent a lot of time standing in the cold, handing people flyers, but I have survived.
Well, that's good.
Someone here is a shop. Who the fuck's the shop? You're a lottery.
I figured once I saw that there was a stream happening that I'd pop by since I'm decompressing from finishing Iconoclasts.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It sounded like it had hit you pretty hard.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
I do have it on my to-play list, but like every game on my to-play list that isn't a DGC game is fairly low priority at the moment.
I don't know how it'll hit you. It's closer to FF6 than it is to Breath of Fire 2, which are the two games that I keep coming to in comparison. I know DGC doesn't think very fondly of FF6, but
yeah, I mean, I don't have that much familiarity with it, so. But I mean, isn't it? Is Iconoclast a platformer?
yeah, it's like a. Everybody always wants to call it a Metroidvania sort of thing. It's definitely. It's like a. More like a Wonder Boy than a Metroid, really. But it's the developer, the main points of reference are Monster World 4 and Metroid Fusion. Ones that keep hearing cited.
It's interesting. I mean, neither of those is a game I know anything about really.
Fusion, I think, is interesting because it's a Metroid that has more stories, cutscenes in it than Metroids usually have, I think. And Monster World 4 is the Monster World game where you get to play as a girl for one thing, and also the most linear one in the franchise, I think. But it's also the one with the most characterization of the series. Which is
I mean, like, platformer is my favourite genre, but historically I haven't got on well with Metroidvania type platformers. I prefer more linear structures.
It was interesting playing Iconoclasts and wrapping it up right as I started playing Celeste, because Celeste is they're both platformers, but they're very different styles of platformers, very different takes on it. And one of the things that's interesting is Celeste feels very responsive in ways that Iconoclasts doesn't.
That's interesting.
There's a kind of a friction between what you think you're trying to do in Iconoclast and what you actually end up doing that just kept gnawing at me, which isn't there in Celeste. Celeste is very much like you do exactly what you're setting out to do.
That's cool. Have you played Even the Ocean?
I have it. I'm going to hopefully I have to re-download it. because I moved systems just recently. So, because of hopefully I can move back to the old system, but I have it on itch. I just have to re-download it, wait for the month to end, and then my rate to go back down to normal. Because I foolishly decided to download off the games that I had on GOG first, and I have like a 25 gig rate limit.
Oh,
which would not normally be something that I hit on a month. Except then I re-downloaded like 5 games at once and wasn't paying attention to how big the file sizes were.
That's rough.
And I was just like, oh geez, I'm almost at my rate limit. I'd better back off here.
Yeah. Because like even the Ocean, I've played a bunch of indie platformers. Even the Ocean was...
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it was the only one that I thought, like, this has actually made use of being in the indie space. Like, this isn't a game that would be very easy to make if it wasn't an indie game. I really need to play their other games, like Anodyne and the new one, All Our Ages.
Oh, it's All Our Ages by the Even the Ocean people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you played that one?
No, but I think either Colin or Leroy was recommending I play it in the in general chat. Yeah, Leroy was recommending it in general just the other day. I was just like, well, I haven't played it because I don't really have $10 to spare anymore.
Yeah.
But I went on a game buying spree, and that ate up pretty much all of my disposable income. Yeah. And then I ran into a serious financial issue that's still stressing me the hell out right now. So I was just like, well, maybe if I hadn't bought those games in that way that you do, and you make a fun idea.
Well, I'm feeling that way about 5 or 6 meals out that I've had since the start of the year, and my boiler blowing up.
God, yeah.
Which the guy was supposed to come and finish up the job today and didn't, because I suspect he's trying to get off without finishing the job. Because when you have to hire a plumber at 24 hours notice, you can't be that picky.
So it's an interesting one to be inspired by. I don't know much about Fusion other than the fact that the thing I always heard about it was that it had more cutscenes than all the others. Because the only Metroid I played is Prime. It's very hard for me to get excited about Metroid because when your first introduction to a franchise is that the developers, introduce the idea that the protagonist is a woman by making a trans-misogynistic joke about her, it's really hard to get that enthusiasm going. But that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. I think, by the way, that I am now Alice trapped in Yuri's mind graveyard.
It does look that way. That's
like all the gravestones have been replaced with inscriptions about, like Yuri's thoughts about Alice. So I don't know what's going to be on the Alice gravestone that's in Yuri's graveyard mine. I haven't got that far left yet. This game is very edgy.
Yeah, I know Shadow Hearts for being said it's very silly and also very edgelordy at the same time.
I kind of love it. Like, some of the boss designs have been incredible. In terms of just sheer over-the-top JRPG-ness, but
also, hello, Sarnai. I see you there, but I don't hear you.
Sarnai lurks, because it's easier for them to be in the chat than in voice than listening on the stream. Well, Alice did not have much reaction at all to her own grave.
Yeah. Huh. The masks look a little different.
That's because I've defeated them all.
Oh.
That's what I spent a large chunk of yesterday evening doing, was grinding for the fucking staff mask, which has about a third the spawn rate of the sword mask. I killed sword mask like 10 times last night, and staff mask twice.
So are you getting the good end, or... No?
I should be getting the good end. We will find out in the next boss fight, because Yuri will show up. Go now to the depths.
I don't know if Devin went for it.
I think so. I think he went for the good ending because he doesn't want like the sequels to be canon, which is fair enough based on what we've heard about the sequels.
I've always heard people really like Covenant more than the first one. But,
yeah.
And then From the New World less. But...
Going out to the depths of the evil dimension is a very Shadow Hearts phrase. I think that's... On the other hand, the Executioner going, are you afraid to face me? And Alice just goes, oh, you? I am Atman, the Executioner of Spirit Sacrifice. I bring death to your soul. It's another good monster. Although this one is basically thingy from Evangelion. I forget which Evangelion is that.
Lilith.
Yeah, that's right. I get Lilith and Adam confused. Adam's the like ear thing in the suitcase, right?
To be fair, the series sometimes gets them confused. But Adam is the suitcase thingy.
Knowing about them from the distance is the right place, Zim, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know that I jumped to Lilith first, since mask covered in eyes is kind of a pretty typical thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's like it's the color scheme and the angles as well that are bringing the visual memory to mind. But
I think if I remember correctly, Evangelion stole that from some Devilman Beastie or some Ultraman Beastie.
Fair
anyway.
Enough. These things do kind of persist.
Yeah.
I hope I still have my crucifixes equipped, and I didn't unequip them for some reason. Now there's a Shadow Hearts light. Impossible! You forced the door to the dark side open and entered the curse of death yourself? I love it.
So has anybody had any luck tracking down where thou hast not won even once yet?
Nope. We are completely baffled. And if we hadn't come up with I can't believe it's not bacon last week, that would probably be the episode title. Or I suppose we could go with thou hast brackets not won even once. Do another Evangelion joke. Sure, just call the god of death a dumbass, Yuri. Why not?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now to see if I can see if there's anything about it. The best anyone's offered is that it's some sort of error in the transcription when they translated it, that they just, accidentally, allocated it to a line again.
Oh yeah, maybe.
because apparently it's supposed to show up when in the pit fighting section.
Huh.
If you lose all the pit fights, you get Thou Hast Not Won even once.
That's such a weird error.
But then in both the other times it shows up, like apparently it's definitely not supposed to be there, because apparently both of the other times it shows up, there's nothing in the Japanese that even says anything except like they're addressing the character.
Also, this is a hell of an attack animation.
Oh my god.
Yep. Why is Alice's sanity so low? Was there sanity cost on that move? That would be a bad thing.
It wouldn't be a final boss without something that sapped your sanity, right?
This isn't the final boss.
Oh.
I've still got a dungeon.
This isn't the final boss?
No. I've still got a whole dungeon to do yet.
Oh my gosh, I thought Oh yeah, Saori's right, that attack did.
Well, Alice is about to go mad. I mean, if any attack in this game was going to cost you sanity points, it would be this one.
Oh, -2. That was way less.
I would guess it's a percentage-based thing.
Yeah, it takes away a third of your sanity at one go, it seems like. Or half your oh no, half your sanity, that's what it takes away.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it took 6 away and she was down to 4, and then when she was down to 4, it took 2 away.
Well, that means she can alternate healing and using sanity items, so that'd be fine. Who's the dude? Is that the priest? Oh shit, she died.
Isn't that Bacon?
No, he's it's not even fake Bacon, who I realise we should be calling Faken.
That's so close to Fagin, though.
Yeah.
Then again, you do have basically JRPG Oliver Twist in your party.
Pretty much. At least when it kills her, she doesn't lose sanity. That's interesting, actually. Cardinal what's-his-face? I can't remember his name. Fake Bacon.
Simon.
That's the one.
Oh, that's what I meant. Keep
Yeah.
forgetting that we actually do have Bacon now.
I think I need one more attack after this. Oh no, because I got the strike. I like how it dies, stands up again, and then dies again. Animation design, why not? And more XP for Yuri because he doesn't already need to be like... I think he's 20 levels ahead of my lowest level character, or 19. Because you can't take him out of your party, and I've done loads of grinding with the other characters. I can't believe the contract for the soul. I don't know why Atman has a really posh English accent, because it's the only accent I can do. But
well, I mean, if you're going to do an evil British accent, that's a pretty evil one.
I can definitely do slightly more evil than that. My mother is from one of the posher parts of Britain.
Oh. Sorry.
Actually, she is from Surrey. Funny that you mention it. the county so British that they named it after an insincere apology. I'm terribly sorry. I like how we were just sleeping on the floor in the lab.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
cute,
sure
Yuri.
when it was that I started to feel the way I do about you.
Little
You can
creepy,
be so
but cute.
short-tempered and foul-mouthed sometimes, and yet
He's playing
so
with a puppy in this
graceful and strong and pure.
in this render though. That's really good.
Would you be surprised if I told
He has a
you
pretty
that I
decent character
sometimes
design.
wished our journey together would never end?
It's just the way
I
he's
don't
written
know where
that
that
kind of
journey
makes it
will
like,
end.
oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Well, he's
But I'm
written like a
frightened
Japanese
when I
video game
start to feel it
protagonist.
coming.
Yeah.
You've survived so many
Like a less
hardships
compelling
since you were a
Ryudo.
child.
As far as I'm concerned.
And without a bird to call him
Overcome
Ryudo.
such pain.
My favourite fucking thing
I'm
about that
certain it
game
was
is
because your
the
mother and
fucking
father
bird's
gave you
accent.
so
He
much
says,
love when you were
Ryudo!
small.
Honestly, my favorite thing
And
about that
that's
game
why-
is someone who has played it some 20 times.
Even if
Wow.
you don't
Is-
put it in words,
It's comfort food.
you're
It's the very
always
first
teaching me just exactly
console
what love
RPG I
is.
ever
Ah, fair enough.
personally owned. On the very first
I'm so
console I ever
thankful that I
personally
met you.
owned, rather than having to play other people's systems,
So
Yeah.
truly, truly
You know,
grateful.
watch other people play their games to know how the games, to know the games.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fond personal memories attached to it.
Yeah.
I played a lot of better games, but none of them are quite comfort food the way Grandia 2 is.
Yeah. I have that with FF12. I think there's games like that for everyone.
Yeah. I have a friend who, I think, very unfortunately, his comfort game in that sense is Xenogears, and I'm just like,
Oh no. Well, I mean, at least you'll never go hungry, right? If that's your comfort food. It could be. I mean, it could be like the entirety of Xenosaga, which then you really wouldn't ever go hungry for comfort food. I really want to find time to play that now that
You keep trying to get me to suffer through Xenosaga with him for a podcast. I'm just like, no, you can't make me do it.
I really want to play Xenosaga, but now that I've got working PS2 emulation, I can actually play the first and third games.
I don't know that it's worth it, but
I've watched LPs of the trilogy, so I know what happens. But I really like Shion as a character. What the hell is?
she doesn't
what-
interest me, but
Sorry, go on.
she kind of creeps me out at the same time.
Surely you can also love the robot.
Not the way she does, where you can't ever quite make out whether she loves the robot because it's a pet, it's a person, or it's a plaything.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, and this is maybe overthinking it, or overthinking this particular discussion, but my take has always been that, like, especially when the robot is a character in a story and not a thing in real life, it's always best to treat it as a you know, forget that it's a robot, basically. And I think if you forget that it's a robot, the story works, like the affection works. Maybe not, you know, it's in that ambiguous space between platonic and romantic, but
I have a lot of strong feelings about how robots are treated in fiction. I'm sure you're surprised.
I would never have guessed.
Oh, for me, it's kind of... Robots are a metaphor for a lot of things, but they're always a metaphor for kind of for who gets to be dehumanized and how. So, like, for me, it's troubling to just kind of be okay with how Shion just kind of conflates things in ways that conflates like power dynamics of personhood that she has versus personhood that Cosmos doesn't have.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like, I see where you're coming from. My approach, because I work in the ethics of technology, there's a lot of stuff there that deals... that... It relies on this weird anthropomorphization where we're afraid of technology to the extent that we can imagine it as human. But where we really need to interact with technology sensibly, we dehumanize it in ways that aren't sensible.
Yeah.
Like, our attitudes
I mean,
to technology
for
are
me,
fucked
it's
up.
like when I see fictional robots, I don't see metaphors for technology. I see metaphors for how people treat acceptably inhuman bodies. Because I've never encountered a fictional robot that actually makes sense as an extrapolation of contemporary technological ethics
Yeah, that's
in
certainly true.
any capacity. They're always metaphors for how people treat unacceptably deviant and subhuman bodies.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So I'm just trying to concentrate on what the heck I'm supposed to be doing here.
Sorry,
No, I mean, like,
I'm spewing stuff about completely different games.
Well, no, I'm following what you're saying. I'm just not really lining up a response because now I need to hit 30 hits on the Judgment Ring, apparently.
Oh, Devin was crying about this last night.
Yeah, this one might take a few goes.
I believe in you.
That's very kind of you. Hang on.
Wait, I need to use this.
Hang on. Maybe I need to inspect it first? Right, so I can't do the lottery. But also he hasn't asked me about the experiment. Maybe I won't get the ultimate weapon then. Which one is this? It's that window. Safe state. Let's see. Right, so this is the Spin Ring 5. Ah, damn it.
Oof. So close.
It was going alright. I felt like I had the pace as well. The acceleration.
You did. You just...
That time I didn't feel like I had it and I got one hit further. I hate games that, like, don't just let you immediately retry. It's such a stupid thing, but these, like, 10 seconds it takes them to walk back to their positions every time. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I ran into that at some points in Iconoclast because sometimes the retry point is the save point, which is several screens away from where you just were.
Yeah. I think I possibly have to do this, and then I can do the 10. Well, that went well.
Oof.
Still, it's all good practice because I want to use some 7 turn rings on the final boss, because that's a good way to 2-round it.
You can set how many rounds you go? I hadn't noticed.
You can't normally, but there are items that instead of doing a regular attack, you do like 3 regular attacks, or 5 or 7. And you can imagine what a 7 attack chain is like.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, against anything but a boss, that seems like overkill.
Yes. I mean, there are some bosses against which it'd be overkill. I like how we've arrived on the living meteor or alien god boss thing, and Mai is suddenly like heart emoji and calling it magnificent.
I think I missed the stream where Mai showed up.
Yes, because you get Mai not long into the second half of the game.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in any of Hit or him, and I'm not sure which.
Him, actually, but that's Keith Valentine, the vampire character. But because his surname is.
Oh, I see why.
But yeah, I thought of the video game Valentines, I thought that was the funniest option. Could have called him Jill, I suppose, but his real name is Keith. Yes, which is in many ways is funnier than any option I could have come up with.
I'm not surprised the vampire has googly eyes at the beating heart.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Window again. Here we go. He has perfected the transfer program. Why does this treadmill have a revolving statue attached to it that I've only just noticed? And what is it, a statue?
I've been puzzling over that this entire time.
It looks like a vaguely Soviet-style statue of a guy holding aloft a weapon in triumph. I cannot figure that out.
I think it's an actual device from the actual time period of Bacon. That Bacon's actual, historical.
You think so?
I think so. It looks like one of those mechanical marvels that were popular back in the day.
Well, I mean, the historical Bacon is 11th century or something, isn't he? Right, let's see.
Oh, that's funny.
Hmm?
Apparently, Roger Bacon was the first Briton to discover gunpowder.
Huh.
Oh, naturally. The reason why Bacon became popular later on was because William Blake liked him.
Ah, yeah, that would go some way to explain it. At least with this I can just button mash through the...
Just twigs of memory, I feel like it.
My finger's getting uncomfortable on the button. Well, I mean, it's 1913. Technology was pretty primitive, sorry. I mean, I'm sure they could have hooked up a generator, but also... that wouldn't be nearly zany enough.
I mean, if it's 1913, I mean, it's not that weird for mystical machinery of 1913. But it's just that the main difference is that Shadow Hearts is in a universe where the stuff actually did stuff, rather than just looked like it.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Like, this is within... I forget in which direction it is, but it's within 50 years of somebody getting the idea of building a machine messiah in the English countryside. I think it was.
I didn't know that one. Love the fact that this cable is dying and my controller is occasionally disconnecting. Come on. Give it a few more tries and then I'll see if I can figure out how to do frame skip in this emulator.
Yeah, John Murray Spear, not in British. Was an American spiritualist clergyman. Who was most notable for his attempts to construct an electrically powered messiah, which he referred to as the new motive power. He's a very fascinating sort of guy because he was an abolitionist, women's suffragist, anti-death penalty.
Whenabouts was it?
That was in the 1800s. So I was off by quite a bit. He died in 1887,
It's not that far off.
and in 1852, he began the process of building the new motive power. I don't know where I picked that fact up, but if I had to guess, it's because he died in Philadelphia, so
Got another local.
local legend of sorts. Oh, I know where I picked this up. It was from an episode of a podcast called Lore. I forget what episode it was. That's where I picked it up. The new mode of power was an attempt at a perpetual motion machine and an early claim of artificial intelligence, a god inside the machine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 19th, even the 20th century are full of perpetual motion machines.
This kind of feels like another take on that. Get enough momentum going and it'll carry itself the rest of the way.
I love it when I can't even get one hit.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's not distraction at all. It's just me being bad. I don't know how long I'll keep this up for. I probably don't need it. Give me a mashing challenge instead, video game. I'm good at those. Nah, you know what, sod it. Too many other things to do. What was the next thing on the side questy list? Oh. Right, lottery. Do I need the Seraphic Radiance? That sounds like it'll be hard to get.
Don't ask me.
I mean, this is recommending levels in the high 40s, and like the characters I'm actually going to be using are in the 50s, so I should be okay.
Yeah,
And
but in theory,
the guide is recommending like getting loads and loads and loads of stuff to take along, but I think I'm not gonna bother.
it's always hard to judge with RPGs from this era whether you actually need all that stuff or whether it's whether like whether the person with the guide is suggesting you get it because it makes it significantly easier, or whether it's because getting it makes it possible.
Yeah. With this game, it's hard to imagine that the final boss will be that hard. Just because none of the other bosses have been.
Yeah, I ran into that a little. Sorry, my brain is still in Iconoclast mode. So it's like
It's alright.
I did everything that I could before I finally beat the final boss, because I hit that brick wall on the trip to the final boss seemed so difficult that I just was like, I'm gonna do everything else.
Yeah.
So I bashed my brain against the two hidden bosses for maybe not a. It wasn't like in terms of time a week solid, but in terms of real time, like time spent passing, it was a week solid, but not in game time. But if you know what I mean. But those were extremely difficult bosses to get through, and then you know, I beat one of them a couple days ago, and I was like, okay, well, I haven't had much luck with the other one, so I'm gonna put it off for a while. Then I went to it today, beat the boss in the first try. It's like, okay.
Sometimes all that's needed is that little bit of time for the nerve pathways to kind of form up.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, I'm probably still gonna struggle to get through the path onto the final boss. And you know, I died once and I was like, okay, well, I expected that. And then I tried it again and I got it through in the second try and I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, well, now that I'm here, and then the final boss compared to the two hidden bosses was a cakewalk.
Well, that's often the way.
I mean, I think if I hadn't done the two hidden bosses, it would have been a lot harder. But the two hidden bosses have roughly the same number of phases to them. But they don't have gating on them. So there's like the final boss has actual like points in it that save, that kind of auto save after.
That helps a lot.
So you know, if you just want to retry, you're just trying from the start of that phase rather than having to traipse your way back to the boss and then do the whole thing over again.
Yeah, I was watching a Let's Play of Revengeance. Somebody playing on hard mode, but clearly not actually very good at the game, because they were wiping repeatedly on pretty much every phase of every boss. That game doesn't look good to me. So, I'm not really.
Yeah, I mean,
not a huge fan of.
I don't think I've ever. I haven't played Revengeance. I like Bayonetta and Nier Automata just fine, but I haven't played Revengeance. I know a lot of people who say that it's at least the second best Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
Plot. In terms of plot, I can see it.
No,
because
God,
of what I've heard.
Like I've never played a Metal Gear game, but I've watched all of them through, and the Revengeance plot is just so shallow.
You're not missing that much, Sarnai.
Yeah, they look like they'd be a massive chore to play. I wouldn't ever play any of them.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I don't think the thing is I don't think Revengeance is any less shallow than the others. But
I mean, 2, 3, and 4 are good mood pieces, though. Whereas,
I mean, the one I like best is 2. I think you saw. I don't know if you saw me tweet that. I was like, 2 exists. The rest of this seems unnecessary.
See, I really enjoy 3 because, like, it's just so obviously a fantasy story. It doesn't give a shit about realism at all, and I love it. The bosses are all like ghosts.
Yeah, it's true. It's the closest to Predator the series gets.
That too.
But I like 2 because it's the one where like everything kind of feels like it has, like, it feels like it actually has justification for being that weird and silly and superficial, and in a way, like,
Oh god, what was I supposed to do
weird
here?
it is to say it.
This looks
Uh-oh,
complicated.
sorry.
Alright, this is the
Sorry.
split party bit. With... Okay, where am I supposed to go?
I just like that you named a character after vampire clan, and then there's also a vampire in the game.
Yeah. Anyway, I got a dive bomber attack for Margaret, so let's play with that. It's very silly. I am sure that the power return doesn't actually justify it at all. Because it's 120 MP for crying out loud.
That was an impressive amount of damage.
It was reasonable, but
Maybe not 120 worth.
no. Well, Black Hole costs 75, so... And that's doing the same amount of damage, except for, I guess, an elemental factor?
Yeah, I feel like Diving Bomber did more. Well, it did 200 more than Black Hole did
But-
on one of them.
But only on the middle one, and I think that's only because of an elemental thing. Oh my god, why is the option for yes, touch the switch, yeah, let's cop a feel?
Translators, why?
Video game.
I gotta kink shame this game again.
If ever kink shaming were justified, it would be this game. But it's alright, I'm back in charge of Yuri and Atlas, and they're effective.
One thing I don't miss about this era is all the random battles.
I mean, the encounter rate in this game is pretty low. This area does seem to be at the high end of it, but... There was a lengthy optional dungeon yesterday where I fought 3 things, including the boss. I think the problem here, though, is that with this, the random battles just take so much longer because everything's got like a 20-second attack animation.
I always like that Yuri gets completely bowled over. Just gets right back up again.
Yeah. Knock the boys flat on their backs, it's the only way. Sorry about the periodic interruptions to my streaming. My nose is acting up. Mind assault. 69 MP? You shit. I need them. You right?
Colleen just retweeted something and I can't. I don't understand it.
I mean, that's usually the way with Colleen's retweets.
It says, have you guys considered putting undead ice spiders big as hounds in every classroom? And it's like, what?
I mean, if you're gonna put something.
I don't.
Go away time. Okay, which way do I go next? Oh joy! Can't physically attack the next boss. Let's check I've got everything equipped correctly.
That's rough.
It says... Well, I don't have any. Oh, maybe I've got berserker rings. Nope. Where is it? Berserker rings.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think I actually read an essay about that just recently. About JRPGs and the fantasy of the collective body or something. Didn't my mic just mute itself or something?
No?
Okay.
I don't think so. Soul, right, so I want... What element's this boss? It's a light boss, so I need... Shadowbox Dark, yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is. We Are One, JRPGs, The Group Journey and the Mechanics of Cooperation by Mark Filipovich,
Oh, him.
2013.
He did a bunch of writing on JRPGs back then. I don't think he's done a lot recently. And I didn't read a lot of it.
Yeah.
I have like 3 items of his bookmarked that I meant to read 4 years ago and never did. Because I'm a bad person.
Yeah, I'll plop it in. I'll plop it in general, since Twitch needs mod permission to post it. I think.
Possibly. I don't think I've got link banning active. But,
I remember from the last stream that Devin had to repost it.
fair enough. Right,
Let me see. Does that go through?
that's gone through.
Okay.
Anyway, one or other of these directions leads to a boss fight.
Yeah, I guess if you wanted to make that argument in a way, that's one of Iconoclast's key carryovers as a JRPG per se, because it does have a party sort of system to it, and outside of cutscenes and occasional boss fights, the party all merges into the main character to wander around.
I should check I'm actually going in the right direction. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, come on. I'm so bad at Alice's brain.
Yeah, I can use some help here.
I don't know why the bazooka fires liquid nitrogen.
You know, my ADD means I keep jumping to other windows.
Sorry?
My ADD means I keep jumping to other windows, and I missed whatever the liquid nitrogen comment was referring to.
Marguerite's bazooka move, for some reason it's a bazooka loaded with liquid nitrogen.
Huh. That seems like an odd
Yep.
choice for something to be filling a bazooka.
Defend. No, that's not who I wanted to defend, never mind. Just advent these. It is Pyramid of Death time.
Is it going to land on them?
Nope. Just pyramid lasers.
Good to know Alice is an agent of the Illuminati.
Yep.
I do like this old Shinra reactor meets H.R. Geiger. Or Giger.
I think it's
Content
Geiger,
design.
but
I think I always mispronounce it as Geiger, but I think it's actually Giger, but I'm not sure. ADD, don't fail me now. Giger, yep.
okay. I stand corrected. Let's see what this boss has for me.
That's a head, alright.
It's a wiggly head.
It's a worm head. Been listening to too much Magnus Archives. That. What was? Oh.
Right, let's start with a single target ability. Or not. This is apparently a light element enemy. Friggin' Jabberwock. I like how its arm clips through its head, even in like its ordinary attack animation.
Yes, they hadn't quite invented reliable hitbox detection in that sense. No, that's not hitbox, that's just collision detection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could use some help here.
Well, also, like, it's a pointless nitpick, but I'm so glad that they just made Arc have a single one-tier hitbox, so it's easy cast. So the on switch did like 400. Let's see what diving bomber does.
Hi, it's me.
Yeah, so that's an extra 55 MP for 100 damage. That is not satisfactory.
There must be an enemy where it's actually useful.
Well, it's a hit all is the thing. So as soon as you've got a pack of enemies, it's fine. But back to dropping a pan on it. Because some things about this game are undeniably
Yeah, I
good.
could use some help here.
Although I think this emulator misses up the timing. Because the animation for being hit plays, then the sound, and then you see the pan land.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to heal.
Since I haven't played the original game, I don't know. I wonder what happens if I try and look that up on YouTube while I'm in here.
Oh shit, that's a death. Resurrection.
Yeah, I could use some help here.
Right. God, I'm really tired. I feel like that's the anthem for Friday streams.
There isn't just
Yeah, I
a
can use
skill
some help
exhibition
here.
for Marguerite.
That is a shame.
There's plenty of them for Covenant.
Of course. We tend to never quite do the popular game in a series.
I noticed you did Breath of Fire 2 instead of Dragon Quarter, which is the one that I always hear about.
We talked about doing Dragon Quarter. Maybe at a later date. Breath of Fire 2 was Leroy's pick. Which are the ones that usually turn out to be good. I pick games either because I've heard of them vaguely and they sounded interesting, or because I've heard lots about them and they're cult classics, and those in particular never go well.
Well, apparently Keith shows up in
Yeah,
the
I
next
can use
game
some
too.
help here.
You would expect so.
Also, there's a lot more characters in the second game.
Playable, you mean?
seems that way.
Huh.
Maybe I'm just miscounting. But it feels like there's, at the very least, people seem to give more attention to the characters. Like, this series seems to gain in actual, like, people knowing of the games with every installment. Like, nobody's heard of Kadelka.
Yeah.
Most people haven't heard of Shadow Hearts. People have heard of Shadow Hearts Covenant. And then people actually played Shadow
Yeah, I
Hearts
can
from
use
the
some
New
help
World.
here.
Yeah.
Sorry if my voice sounds rough. I'm a little tired myself, so...
It's the end of the week. And it hasn't exactly been a thing week. Or it's been a very thing week, whatever thing is. Our rally was good this afternoon though. I got a donut. It was good for other things besides the donut, but the donut was particularly good.
Yeah, I hope it goes well.
It seems to be, like,
There's not much I can do on the other side of the giant lake.
yeah.
But
So, on Wednesday before the strike, 11 vice-chancellors had joined the call for for the universities to come back to the negotiating table. And it is now 17, and
Yeah, I could use some help here.
Universities UK have gone from saying that it's been settled to saying that they were always willing to come back to the negotiating table, honest, which is a lie.
right. Yeah.
Although it's funny, at the rally, the first speaker was one of the Liverpool MPs, who's a Labour MP, and like because of Jeremy Corbyn, Labour's shifted quite strongly left. But this woman I know was a Blairite, and I've seen her speak before, not at union events, but she did a guest lecture at one of the Liverpool universities, and that was back in like 2012 or 13, and she was still very, very clearly very Blairite, very slick, polished kind of PR kind of job. Now, bear in mind that date, 2012-13. She got up on stage today and told us that in 2015 she'd been head of the National Union of Students leading their campaign on tuition fees. And I thought, that's not right. You definitely weren't in the NUS then, because you were a fucking MP. She was parachuted in. She's not a Liverpool kind of local at all. She was parachuted in by Blair.
Typical Blairite.
Uh-huh. Very much so. Liverpool being the last bastion of old Labour. Only place where Labour has consistently meant something recognisably socialist all the way through. What the fuck does a seal of aura do? Let's just find out. Or get a random encounter.
Devin wants to attack a bagel.
Fair enough.
I think this is a Monster Hunter thing.
Maybe. When we try to play Mon Hunt, it's going to be embarrassing. I'm going to be so bad at that game.
Yeah, I could use some help here.
Bosses left. Hate, Scapegoat, Messiah, and Metagod. This is a JRPG final dungeon, alright?
Hate, Scapegoat, and Metagod.
Hate, Scapegoat, Messiah, and Metagod.
Oh, right.
Get it right. How could you forget the Messiah? Our Lord and Saviour. Probably Roger Bacon. These upside down double-headed dudes are so, like, tanky. It's really annoying.
They do seem to exist purely to eat spells.
Where's my mind's eye? There we are. Mind's eye. Demon earrings. Yep. Hang on. Crucifix. Everybody gets a crucifix. I could actually use the reduced rate of random encounters item at the moment, couldn't I? No reason not to do that.
You're a high enough level, right?
Yeah. And it should speed things up a bit. What does a Seal of Aura do? Max MP increase of 3 to 5 points. Who needs 3 extra MP? Let's give it to Yuri to put him his max over 500. Seal of Aura. Oh, follow this one to get... I don't need a lottery ticket. Why would I need a lottery ticket at this point? We are not going to be doing any more lotteries.
Does the guide know something you don't?
I think so.
Berserker Earrings feels like a good way to lose sanity points really fast.
Yep. Walk through the center area to the middle right. Oh, middle right. Confused. Oh, there we go.
That's the rightmost.
Yeah. Now I'm supposed to walk through this green beam. Just the instructions are confusing. Sure, I don't need to be cleaning out this area.
Yeah, I could use some help here.
And now it is a portal?
Nope, but it has been activated. I have 700,000 cash and basically didn't have anything to spend it on. Crack slingshot, yep, don't need that.
You know, I was just thinking, we'll know the heritage of Japanese console RPGs is well and truly dead the day a Tales game comes out and the party isn't represented by one single figure on a roadmap.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, they're the holdouts there. Appreciably so, I think.
Well, I mean, if you look at what
Need some help here.
Zest and Berseria were doing, it makes sense for those games to keep the clutter down.
Yeah. I could have used a bit more clutter in Zesteria's case. A lot more clutter, to be honest. That was a
Yeah, the areas were, well, I don't know,
miserably uncluttered game.
like, the big open areas were uncluttered, but then there were some, like, the dungeons would not have thrived. Especially all the optional dungeons would not have thrived.
They were all corridors, but
Well, they were all corridors and they were all really narrow. Like, when you had a battle in a corridor, it got pretty crowded.
yeah.
Especially that one fight with the slimes near the beginning of the game. 7
The
billion
worst.
slimes! Right. Stairs to the left. That's this one.
I see red lasers.
What the crapsicles is that? What was that noise?
That was me seeing what you just saw.
It was an appropriate response. Apparently I'm not in the right place though, so I'll figure this out just for a second.
That looks like a disgusting grubworm of some kind.
Right, I think I need to go past those red lasers. So we'll see if we can figure out how to do that. It's hug enemies! Cannot believe this guide is recommending that you use the Mind's Eye with Marguerite. That just seems like such a bad idea.
Isn't that what you've still got on Yuri?
Yeah, but Yuri's areas are really easy to like spot without the indicators because they line up with the marks around the edge of the disc. Marguerite's really don't. I don't think the guide has told me to go out of this door yet, so I bet it's up here. Oh no, this is where it wanted me to go. Very clear instructions, guide. Well done. What have we got here? That's the Seal of Vitality, which is 3 to 5 HP. What the heck are those? Arcmine.
I feel like Seal of Vitality and that other one that you got, those are definitely things that... What the hell are those anyway? Oh. I feel like those are things that the benefit is cumulative. Rather than just like...
I think they are. I mean, it's just there are HP and MP ones just for completeness sake, rather than because it's a useful game item. There's basically never been a stage of the game where 3 extra MP was worth having.
Yeah, this seems like a game where like 20 would help, but
Yeah, that'd be the
3 is
smallest amount that would be useful.
that's what I was saying. It seems like it would be something that would be like cumulative. You'd get like where you,
Oh, you mean it would have bonuses each time your HP levels up?
like no, like you would have to get more than one of them, like apply them like as like a permanent bonus or whatever. Because that Seal of Aura, once you applied it, it went away, right? It was
Yeah.
just applied and then it went away.
Well, no, it's a consumable item, but
Right, like consumable. That's what I meant. Like, but you would consume multiple of them over the course of the game
yeah,
to get to like extra 20 that might save your bacon. You know, at the end of the game.
except that there aren't that many in the game. I haven't
Yeah.
seen any way that you can get lots of them. Also, if it saved bacon, that'd be saving the bad guy, wouldn't it? I mean, if I was any good at comedy, I'd have like caught you with that before clarifying the point. But I saw a call for papers yesterday for the Light-Hearted Philosophers Society conference. I really want to go, but unfortunately, it doesn't say where the conference is being held.
Oh no.
It's like, dang it. And I looked at their website, but that doesn't say either. Oh, come on.
This is very confusingly laid out.
It's incredibly confusing. Also, my controller really has a cable problem.
This just gives flashbacks to the tower in Iconoclast. So areas like it.
Right, there's the switch for the red.
The tower is sensible to go through once you've actually finished going through it and are just going back through it trying to figure out where you haven't been. Because you've unlocked everything,
Yeah.
and you don't have to go through all of the switchbacks and backtracking that you have to go through while you're in it trying to get to the end of it. But until then, it's just a mess of, okay, which elevator do I need to take to get to which part of the place to get me to the hidden path that will get me to this other side of the tower that will get me to where I actually need to go.
Yeah.
And you're just like, please, why?
Because video game.
I have a sneaking suspicion the reason why the percentages of completion percentages drop drastically from everything that every achievement that you can get before the tower and every achievement that you can get after the tower. Because people hit the tower and are just like,
Nope.
I can't do it. The problem is that like the tower, Iconoclast sometimes has a problem where the areas are they're single theme areas enough
yeah.
that if you do too much backtracking, you just get tired of seeing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
The tower is probably where that gets to be its worst, because it is designed specifically to evoke that kind of sense of damnable consistency and
Yeah.
poor imagination. So you're beating your head against this thing that just looks
Drab.
yeah. And it's confused, and it's laid out in a way that is designed to make it hard to get through. So
Yeah. It always seems to be the way, doesn't it? Like the areas that feel really drab are also the ones that are designed to be really time consuming.
yeah,
Makes me think of the fortress castle section at the end of FF15. That was a level.
I've always understood that that's how people react to the first part of FF13, but
Well, no, the first part of FF13, you spend a lot of time on it, but it's basically just driving around this beautiful landscape in your car. It's quite, it's chill.
oh,
Oh no,
FF
15.
FF15?
I meant
Yeah,
50.
I thought you meant okay. Yeah. On the other hand, FF13, the problem people had with that was that it was just a straight shot until you got to Grand Pulse.
I mean, even Grand Pulse is actually a straight shot.
Like, or Cocoon, I guess it is, or whatever. I don't
No,
remember now.
Pulse is the open field bit, but you can't actually do much open field stuff there because it's so gated by level. Someday I'm going to write a book on that game. Or the trilogy, anyway.
I'd read it.
Right.
At some point, I actually want to say all three of them. But
God.
someday.
Someday we'll have the time.
I definitely don't want to touch Final Fantasy 15 before I play all of the Final Fantasy 13. That just feels so misogynistic to me to imagine doing that.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
It was more of a joke than anything, but there is a part of me that does kind of feel that way about it.
I mean, the misogyny is FF15, it's not yours. God, that game is bad.
Yeah.
We were chatting today about the DLC, and it was like, there actually are enough male characters that they could do an entire second season of DLC and still not have, like, Arania and Luna have their own DLC chapters.
They could, except Luna and Arania are the second and third planned DLCs out of the DLC that they've announced.
Oh, that's alright at least. I'm not buying any DLC until they put an Iris chapter in.
Like it's episode Arden,
Yep.
episode Luna, episode Aranea. I personally would like to see an episode Cindy, but that's just me.
I wouldn't mind an episode in. I think I'm going this way. No, I already went that way. Shit.
That's the chest.
Yep. Let's do Maggot Boss. Mind's Eye, Demon Earrings, Crucifix. Priest Earrings, Crucifix.
I wonder what the pedometer is useful for.
You trade steps for items. Including you get Marguerite's best armor that way.
Well, that is handy.
So Marguerite's best armor is the leather suit, for which the description is "for adults only!" exclamation mark. Her second best armor is the rubber suit, for which the description is "for adults only!" question mark. I see what they did there, and I am not happy about it.
Oh god.
Video game.
I really have to wonder how much of that is the translation team and how much of that is the original game, you know?
Somebody ought to suffer for it.
The game itself seems like kind of has that attitude anyway. But oh god, are those are legs? Okay.
I'm not sure what they're supposed to be. What am I supposed to be doing with these? Oh yeah, I can use foliage.
Those are definitely supposed to give off the impression of being stocking legs. I don't like it.
Yeah, now you mention it. Yikes. That's grody.
Creepy.
Well, that's clearly what this game is aiming for in its boss designs. This is the first one that I found genuinely unsettling. Even the, like, baby orb wasn't this bad. But then I suppose if we're going to gaze on the face of hatred, makes really,
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about this being the face of hate.
yeah, it makes really intestinal noises when hit as well. That's a little bit much.
Oh, I just turned the sound on to hear them. Regret.
Where are my third keys? I thought I had 7th keys. Doesn't seem to be worth spending money on them at the moment.
Yeah, that seems like something to hold on to until Messiah or
Yep. Yep, these noises, sorry.
Puts me in mind of a game I really should not admit to playing. I don't know why Twitch reproduced Sori's comment twice, but I sympathize.
Oh wait, sorry, I was muted. I shall have to run through my entire routine teasing you to reveal what the game is that you were embarrassed about playing again.
Wasn't sure if you heard that.
I heard! I managed to mute my mic. So what was it?
Yeah. Sayanouta.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I have no idea whether that's actually embarrassing to admit playing, or whether I respect your courage, because, like, all I've seen of that are screenshots, and I looked up a plot summary once, and decided that I definitely wasn't going any closer to it than that.
Yeah. That was a decision I made in my youth that I look back on like, well.
That sure
I
was
wrote
a
a
decision
fanfic
I made
about
in my
it.
youth.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I'm not sure it's a game that I decided to play. It was a game that I decided to play around the same time that I decided to play Fate Stay Night. So, you know.
Ah, fate.
That was almost literally 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
It probably was literally 10 years ago now that I think about it.
I mean, when was the
2007,
first anime? Was that like 2004, 5-ish?
Oh, I don't know when the first adaptation was. I just remember when I first played an English patch of it.
Because I encountered...
I actually had Demon Tools Lite, the non-spyware version of Demon Tools.
I guess it might have been 2006, yeah. I first heard about it because of the anime, like I didn't know it was a game first.
Yeah, it was, the game originally came out in 2004. The adaptation was in 2006, and I got hold of a cracked version of it and a patch for the English translation in 2007. Because I think they just released Rialta Nua version of it, and someone had just scrubbed up a proper English patch for Rialta Nua. So. It's not a very good game, but I will fight people over.
There are so many games like that. Now, this bit I am going to need to concentrate because there are warps.
Okay.
By all means talk, but I apologise if I'm slow to respond.
I always feel like I'm a distraction, so.
Sorry. Cool. Marguerite can now one-shot those things. Means I should probably just have Alice defend. Oh yeah, I could have 3 Mind's Eyes. Give one to Alice and never hit her ring again. Ah, there's the first one. Right. All of a sudden we're in some weird place, says Yuri, while we're literally in the middle of a giant floating alien glob of flesh that is summoning the Elder God from the distant stars.
But it's a different sort of strange place.
Okay. Head up the northern stairs. Oh no, there's a pulsing thing with a heartbeat in this area.
Oh, that's lovely.
Is this a red cap? It is. God, why won't you die? There we go.
It's got a lot of health. I always wish more games came with like actual like indications of how much health something had, so you
Yeah.
like knew by how much you just damaged it.
Yeah. I mean, this game does have like a weakened animation for enemies, but... Oh shit, I hit the wall. Who's the heretics code for? Is that analysis? It's a Yuri item. Which means it's actually an upgrade.
Well suited to a destroyer of the gods.
Yeah. Down here. South. Right. Cockatrices. You are impervious to Yuri's attacks, apparently. Lovely. Are they impervious to Ice Bazooka? No. God damn it.
Cross that fate and then crosses my dash.
What's that?
Of course, it's an actually funny joke about fate. So,
I mean, like, jokes about Fate tend to be better than anything I know about Fate itself, so...
fate, where anyone can be an archer if they throw something hard enough. It's not wrong. Every single archer in Fate does like there are only like 2 archers in Fate that actually use a bow. Everyone else is an archer because they like throw things. It's hard. Gilgamesh is an archer because he hits the Gate of Babylon, which is him throwing things that he has hoarded over the centuries hard enough.
Fair enough.
The archer that is called Archer in Fate Stay Night that everyone knows as Archer. He's an archer because he throws swords. Hard enough.
Whoops.
Not because he actually uses a bow, because he throws swords. My all-time favorite iteration of that is actually for the Rider class in Grand Order, where Queen Mabe shows up. Fairy Queen Mabe. And she shows up initially as Rider class, and it's not entirely clear why, because she doesn't have anything to ride. But she opines maybe it's because I ride men.
Well, G up. Through this door.
That's not quite how archers work. I used to be one.
Me too, actually. Let's see.
I don't get on with my dad, but my dad used to be national level competitive archer until he hurt his back.
Yeah.
I got to meet Gina Davis that way.
Sorry?
I got to meet Gina Davis that
That's
way.
pretty cool.
She was in competition on the ladies' side, but he was in competition on the men's side at one point.
Yeah, my
This
parents...
is back when Stuart Little just come out.
My parents and my sister did quite a lot of archery. I did a little bit. My sister did represent her university. My mother was once third in the country, but only because she was in a category that didn't have many competitors.
Archery is the reason I got to go to England when I was a kid. My dad competed at the Royal Talks.
Ah, yeah.
And only an archer knows what the Royal Tox is if you just say the Royal Tox.
My mum shot there once, the year she was third in the country. It's like, toxopholite is a weird word. I don't really know how you get from toxopholite to archery, but... Oh man, even the guide is referring to the next boss as a freaky looking demon. It must be something special.
It's apparently the Greek word for bow is toxon, so it's bow lover, literally.
Yeah.
Toxon, Philos, bow lover.
Well, in the same way that philosophy is lover of wisdom.
Yep.
Which it's sometimes hard to credit if you know any philosophers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am a phenomenological nihilist, so,
Where am I supposed to go now?
So I've spent a fair bit of time going, why is everyone else not getting what I mean?
I'm short your list stairs. This time go east.
Also a lot of time spent yelling at people for quoting Heidegger at me.
Rip.
I don't mourn Heidegger one bit. The man was a Nazi.
Yep. Yeah, I was in a staff meeting the other day, and our person who teaches existentialism said, "Well, I've finally updated this this module spec to remove Heidegger because I've taught this module for 8 years. I've literally never taught Heidegger. There was Heidegger on that module when I took it, but that was a long time ago. That was before it had been proved that he was an active Nazi, shall we say."
I didn't know that there was a time when it wasn't proven.
It was only quite recently that they got full access to his papers because his family had kept a lot of it private for a while. And about 2 or 3 years ago, I think, some legal wrangling happened that meant more of the papers were published, including some in which he was very clearly... because the line for years was, well, okay, he was a member of the Nazi Party, but only in the way that many kind of middle-class Germans were, where they didn't really understand it and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I've never bought that line for a second, having read Heidegger enough to be like, no, this man's a Nazi.
Yeah. Well, there's similar hand-wringing about Nietzsche, right? But, like, Nietzsche's ideas are overtly fascist. Regardless.
Nietzsche's ideas are very overtly proto-fascist. I would not say that he is a Nazi. He was misused by the Nazis.
Well, I mean,
he was very proto-fascist in the same way that a lot of people proto-fascist in the way that a lot of people mistake as being anti-fascist these days.
I mean, I think he's outright fascist. I don't think there's a way you can read Nietzsche where he isn't. But
he's got a lot of his stuff about willpower and all that stuff you find cropping up in I don't know, libertarian strains of entertainment.
Yes.
Let's like anything that's influenced by Go Nagai has Nietzschean ideology in it and is proto-fascist by definition.
Yep.
If you are not actively aware of the ways in which that leads to fascism, it'll just lead you right there.
How the hell do you end up with an item called V-Blade Bloodouth? I assume it's supposed to be Blood Oath or something? Or maybe it's Blood Oath. Badly transliterated. It's a Keith item anyway, I don't need it.
It sounds like it's almost trying to be German.
Fifth key. A few steps west and walk for the last time.
Passed down for hundreds of years among the Darkness clan, it carries a power so great that no other can hold it. Its power is truly incredible.
Gamepad, wake up. Okay.
I'm guessing that Keith is a member of the Darkness clan.
Probably. I have his ultimate though because I fought a bat.
Oh, yeah, Terving.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wiki. So,
Right.
yeah, Heidegger's family kept it hidden for the same reason that Nietzsche's family kept hidden a lot of things where he was very loudly dunking on everything that all the Nazi shit that they actually stood for in his letters. Because he may have been proto-fascist, but he didn't think much of Nazis.
Yes. Or, well, he didn't think much of the people who would go on to become the Nazis.
Yeah.
Nazi, wasn't it?
Which is always the funny thing.
Yeah.
But about Nietzsche, he was very definitely skewing that way. He just hated the people. He just hated the people who would, end up trying to claim him.
Yes. This time I'm actually going to remember to set up Yuri's soul correctly. I don't have Seraphic Radiance. Do I have Foron? I must have Foron. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my stream is behind a bit too, I think.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lag.
That's why I've got the actual stream muted again, because
Yeah.
hearing me start talking the minute I stop talking is really eerie.
Yep.
For one thing.
So this is Scapegoat. And they weren't kidding about monster design. This one really is a Jabberwock.
Oh, that's a thing.
Ah.
What is that in its groin?
Sorry?
It's groin region.
Wow.
Oh dear. I saw it for a second. I'm like, I sure hope I missaw that.
That's alarming.
It twitched.
Is it an upside down goat head?
I hope so.
Let's be
I
charitable.
can't tell from here.
Let's be charitable and assume that's what it is.
Sarnai, no! They'll summon Odai.
I mean, given that it's got 3 necks, you don't have the long 3-mon. My favourite Digimon. Gamepad.
Sorry, I didn't get... sorry, your mic gated out, whatever name of the Digimon that you just said.
It was a very bad joke.
There's a very phallic-looking upside-down goat head.
Yep. Certainly from a distance. Well, we shall laser it. Leroy pointed out earlier that there's a panty shot in the animation for this spell, and now I can't not see it. Friggin' video games. I really hope this unlocks another save point. That would be really good.
Gone this entire time without one.
No, there was a save point after the last boss, but I just don't want to have to backtrack through the warp area to get to it, because that would suck.
Hi, Devin.
Hello. Ah, there we go.
Great, now that you pointed it out, I've just noticed it for the first time.
Afraid so.
It's, you know, it's very interesting because that's very definitely from a old school approach to the panty shot versus like this must have been in like the tail end of when that philosophy about how to do it was just going out of style, because the way they used to do it was they'd do it for like this brief second. You'd have to know it was there,
Yeah.
paused, or be looking at just the right time to catch it. And shortly after like this period of time is when they really started amping it up to be like, yeah, well, you're not gonna miss it now. Which is weird because right after this is the advent of the DVD player when you could just friggin' pause the thing to catch it anyway. It's just, yeah.
I am not okay with the middle hit of this enemy's like regular attack animation.
That's wrong.
That's profoundly unfortunate. Alice just got goated in the face.
Not okay with that. Oh gosh. And it's interesting because, you know, I grew up during the time when that was like how it happened. Like you could pretend you didn't notice it, or you could legitimately not notice it.
I mean, I did too, and I probably just legitimately didn't notice it because I'm
Well, yeah,
clueless.
like half the time I didn't. Yeah, legitimately just completely passed you by. But you can't do that anymore. I honestly don't know. Like, I don't like thinking about how it used to be any more than I like thinking about how it is now. But you know, at least it was easier to avoid.
Yeah. God, I have 800,000 cash. This game is not well balanced financially. Okay. It looks like we're up to the final boss rush.
Final two, right?
Oh, fucking hell. That should do it.
That's a new low for Facebook.
What's that?
Apparently they've got a VR shooting booth set up at CPAC.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is pretty bleak. God, this controller's dying. That's a shame. Sand off.
I ended up with so much money by the time I was done with Xenoblade X that, like, it literally took me having to, like, buy up, like, 5, like, endgame, suits, endgame,
Next.
dolls. Yeah, to actually put a dent in my finances. And bring me back down to 1 million. I think it was. Actually, I might have hit 1 billion by the time I was done with it. I had nothing to do with it except have it.
Although, my entire radar for what counts as a large number in a game has been skewed by playing Universal Paperclips. It's like, I had to learn new names for numbers to play that game. Anyway. Time for the final confrontation. Did Yuri just ask the bad guy, would your ideal world be any fun?
Of course he did.
What a dweeb.
Hurry.
I assume the final boss is going to take place at the top of the stairs that we're currently fighting at the bottom of. Otherwise I'm going to be very disappointed.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Fusion. For That's a really satisfying ring to hit. The timing, the rhythm is really just chunky. What to recommend with Margaret? Presumably just attacking. Wait, it's carrying itself, isn't it? Its foot is wrapped around under its...
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a nice design quirk. Oh, I do have a 7th key, cool. Ah, almost got all 9.
So close.
It's alright, I got 2 crits in there. I'll take it.
That was absurd.
I think this boss has 6,000 HP according to this guide.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
That's more HP than any of the other.
No, I've fought bosses with 10k HP.
What, in this game?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh jeez.
But they were like optional bosses.
Oh, so those must have been off stream.
Yeah, that was.
Any of the bosses that I've seen you fight so far have been than a couple thousand at most.
No, the last 2 were like 7,000, 7,500.
Oh.
Bosses don't last long in this game.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. It's kind of nice.
The last one is apparently 12,500, which will take a little bit longer. But also I have like 7th keys for that.
I don't know what you could possibly be referring to, Devin. I honestly don't. I feel like I should, though. But, you know, I still don't.
Oh, the game audio's out of sync. Huh. Is it badly out of sync?
Now is a really bad time to finally notice that. Oh, Devin doesn't mean here. Devin means when we get to the final boss, okay?
Ah, right.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
don't know what to do about my end.
I don't know what the problem is, because like everything looks like the timing is right on OBS.
Yeah,
Twitch is playing up.
seems fine on Discord. Like I'm not having any trouble. Like I'm responding to you, and you're not reacting like I'm responding delayed or anything.
Yeah. Right. That's Messiah down. He becomes a stretchy boy.
That's an interesting death animation. I mean, the other thing is that the stream itself is delayed, and so my responses are sometimes delayed because it takes a couple seconds for what Becky's seeing to happen on my screen.
That's a disconcertingly well animated falling down the stairs animation. Some loving detail went into that. Oh, fucking hell, control it, there we go. I guess we beat some sense into Albert. Shit, I hadn't actually thought about that, sorry, but you're dead right. Apparently to fight Albert we shrank like 50%. That is the party I want to take. This definitely looks familiar.
Oh.
Although it looks familiar from like 4 other JRPG bosses.
This kind of horse shit again. Okay.
Yeah, Vesperia is
It's definitely a Tails final.
Yeah.
Tails final boss. Straight up. Berseria does this too. I think I like Berseria's take on it much better than this one.
Yeah. Right, do I actually have all the items that the game wants me to have to use on Yuri? There's the silver hand. There's the monkey paw. There's a moon swallow. Right. 2 7th keys and a 5th key. So, Yuri uses Silver Hand. This looks substantial.
Yeah, that's what I meant by Berseria did a much better job than this. That final dungeon in Berseria is one of my all-time favorite dungeons that I've ever played through in an
It's good.
RPG.
I think I prefer Tarkaron, the final dungeon of Vesperia. That is because, like, Vesperia is one of my favourite games.
I think Saori's right.
What's that? Yep.
Yeah.
Right, now I need to use the monkey paw. Lola items when you have the silver hand active. That's a rad animation effect. I don't know if it's just the emulator breaking, but it looks cool. Kind of stuttering.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the background music for this fight.
It's pretty good. I want to be the Tubular Bells player who's got to play that. That's a much more evocative Tubular Bells. Okay, now we're into 7th key territory. I want to make sure that I don't waste them by misunderstanding the instructions. This is excellent, excellent fun. We might be here a little while.
This is ridiculous. This is almost.
And that's all, folks.
I was going to bring up Millennia's Spellbinding Eye from Grandia 2 because of how much I enjoy that as a game breaker of a move. Spellbinding Eye, if you level it up, automatic success.
Yeah.
It locks everything like 5 turns.
Nice.
So, like, using that, like, when you lose Millennia, it's legitimately devastating to like game breaker strats. And then you get Millennia back just in time to do the final boss rush, and it's just like right out the gate, Spellbinding Eye. Do it again when it breaks. Spellbinding Eye.
Yeah. Right. Let's actually hear this bit of voiceover.
And the horrible events leading up to yesterday seemed like nothing more than a bad dream. Soon, it was time to say farewell to everyone. Keith, our handsome vampire, grew weary of the hustle and bustle of the outside world, and so he returned once again to his peaceful castle in Transylvania. I wonder how many centuries he'll sleep this time. Good night, and sweet dreams, dear friend. Master Zhu Zhen, our brave Taoist adept, has gone back to Shanghai to mend the disruptions in the energy fields of China. You taught us so much, Master Zhu Zhen. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and please, try not to overexert yourself. Our beloved spy for hire said she planned to go home to Paris. but she joked about how her next assignment was probably already waiting for her. So, there's no telling where she might be right now.
Are you right, Tara?
Hallie, that cute little street boy we met in London,
These
set sail from Southampton with his mother, Fidelka,
final
to find
shots.
his long-lost
There are
father
a lot.
in America. Finally, they'll be able to live together as a family. I pray you'll all find happiness. As for me, I'm headed for Zurich, where my mother's waiting. With Yuri, of course.
Aww, they're asleep together on the train, isn't that sweet? Well, that's the earliest in the month that I finished a DGC game in like over half a year, I think. So I guess
The end of this is when you find out if you got the good end or the bad end, right?
I guess so. Although, no, because after that fight that I did in the graveyard was the determining point. Because that's where the fate of Alice's soul is decided.
Yeah, I just thought I read something like at the end of the credits, it's a matter of whether they both wake up on the train or.
Oh, right, I see.
Or whether just Yuri wakes up.
God dang.
Like, if you did it right, then it doesn't. Then, yeah, it's already determined, but.
Pretty sure I've done it right.
God, hearing the delay on my voice on stream is too much. I have to mute it again.
It's fair enough.
I didn't mean to talk over
Don't. I mean,
the stream.
she wasn't saying anything, like, worth listening to.
I just couldn't. I literally couldn't hear it. I didn't realize what was.
Like, I wouldn't care, but this fucking game doesn't subtitle its voice acted bits.
Yeah. That's an unfortunate.
It's just, like,
Artifact of the time.
Yeah.
I think.
I like how to give you the impression that they're actually, like, travelling. They had them, like, fake go through a tunnel. Like, it just went dark outside for a second.
It's a cute touch. Hi, Colleen. We were talking about you earlier.
You missed the most glorious end boss battle ever. The thing that annoys me is that I didn't realise I had 2 of everything I needed for that strat. I could have done it on the second to last as well. The more I look at their pose, the less comfortable it looks. Like, that's not a human being sleeping on another human being's shoulder, that's 2 dolls that have been stacked together.
It's not generally a very comfortable position to actually lie in the first place.
Yeah.
This is definitely. It's not comfortable to lie in general. If you've ever tried to mimic any show that does this, it's just the most awkward thing in the world, and it doesn't hold.
I'll just put this person's shoulder in the small of my neck. That's gonna be nice.
That is a nice piece of headcanon you've got there, Dev.
I mean, it might be the case, we can't see.
I just had to make a headcanon joke.
I'm not sure its subtitles being considered superfluous, Sim. Like,
What FMV?
the problem with that is that games before this were all subtitled.
We haven't gotten to the FMV of the credit. Don't blame me for not knowing something I haven't seen yet.
Uh,
That sounds rough.
it's just because I've been stood in the cold for 2 or 3 hours a day. I managed to pick a picket that doesn't get any direct sunlight. And is at the intersection of 2 wind
Base.
tunnels.
The person who did bass on Shadow Hearts is literally named Love Devil, okay?
Fair enough. It kind of reminds me of something, the song. I can't quite place it. I believe I did indeed save Alice. Oh yeah, there's the arm. At an uncomfortable angle to look.
As the warlock said in the end, even if an age of winter comes bringing the harshest hardships, I intend to live on with my new family.
God, that looks almost exactly like the ending of Blade Runner. Like the bad original cut with the voice acting.
Wow. That's... yeah, kinda does. Ugh.
Except with slightly better cinematography because the colour was brighter. Anyway, World War One begins. How's that for a happy ending? And I guess we're done.
You beat it.
Yay!
You're free.
I'm free to start Exist Archive. Actually, I might do some speedrunning this weekend. I've been jonesing for it. Do I want to save my progress up to this point? Why not? Congrats on cause. Well, I didn't cause it.
You kind of did.
No. Wasn't me. On New Game Plus, if I can cheat to always have like a monkey's claw and a moon swallow and whatever the other item I was use it. Yep, thanks everyone for your for the loan of your eyes and ears. It's been lovely, and streaming will continue until morale improves.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the fact that I can't shut up.
It's alright. It keeps the airwaves full. Good night.